when Krishna left this earth, that the Kali Yuga really began, and they came up with the Christ story.
Prove to me that you are alive.
Because he'll put out their version of the story.
Exactly, but that's exact. Thank you. You just fucking nailed it. Thank you.
He won't let the cat out of the bag. Which is these fucking people, these craft are coming from lands on the ocean.
So then he's also controlled opposition, Jim. What else can I fucking say, man?
Exactly. I think I only saw one or two of his videos. I watched one with Danica Patrick interviewed him, the IndyCar driver.
I'm working on getting him on our podcast, man. Fucking, so let's see, man. And if he really comes, if he's really about what he says he is, because he keeps fucking saying that he's with the people, he's willing to talk. If he comes, man, I'm gonna ask him straight the fuck up, man. I'm gonna ask him straight up.
Yeah. He's knowledgeable. I have to send you this shit that I found on the Secret Space program. I'll find the video and I'll send it to you. There's a part 1 and a part 2. You got to hear what the man says. Read between the lines. It's the fucking opposite of the space program. It's the total fucking opposite of the space program. Yet he still won't let the cat out of the bag that we are on a level ocean. Nobody fucking knows what the lights in the sky are. I don't know what they are. I don't know what the sun is. I don't know what the moon is. I have my speculations on it. Nobody does. Anybody who does isn't going to tell us what they are. You know, so if they stick to this atheistic Big Bang Theory narrative, where, you know, they're not saying there is no God, but they are implying that there can't be one. And if he sticks to that narrative, he can tell you this, because he's only got half the story anyway. You know, he can't really let the cat out of the bag because he doesn't fucking have the full story. But he's got enough to be intriguing and to catch people's attention and to get their message across. There are many people like him out there.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because again, like right now, like I just mentioned, the biggest sign to me is who is being pushed hard. Because if they're fucking being pushed too hard, something fishy is going on, man. And the people that are being suppressed is I rather lean towards that way, because they're being suppressed for a fucking reason, man. And again, I think their biggest fear is not someone sitting down with all this, you know, extraordinary vocabulary that fucking went to Princeton. Their fear is someone like a Jim Dillinger with extraordinary fucking, you know, universal knowledge, but that's able to talk to the regular guy.
Yeah. What was I going to say there? I was going to say something. It slipped my mind.
Stephen Greer.
Yeah, Stephen Greer. Yeah, all of them.
That they let a half a story out, and then you said fucking with this whole implying that there is no God. And if
yeah. The cabal are obliged to give us the truth.
Yes, yes, it's in the
They're
Kabbalah.
obliged
If
to
you
give us
open
the
the
truth.
Kabbalah, it's in there, man.
Yes, there's truth and lies in the same sentence that they give us.
Yeah.
So they will give us the truth and they'll show us the lie. They will tell us that they have an international space station flying through fucking space. They'll tell us that it's there. The media will tell us billions will be spent creating this fucking circus. But what they show us, if we look deep enough, is that they're faking it. You can see them hanging on wires. You can see them pulling fucking non-existent things using CGI to create objects inside there. If you look at a video of any of these so-called astronauts on this so-called space station flying through space, there is no friction. If that's the case. But you speed it up 50 times, you speed the video up 50 times, you can see all sorts of things inside the space station bubbling up and down, moving up and down, moving left to right, because they are on a zero-G aircraft. But you cannot see at normal speed things bouncing around. But when you speed it up 50 times, you can see all these things bouncing around. So they tell us that they're on a fucking international space station, but they're showing us that they're not. And it's deliberate. It's not a NASA mistake. They're not mistakes. Because they are obliged by the laws of karma. These people, the cabal at the very top, they know that God is real. They just hate him.
Obviously.
Right? They hate him and they hate creation and they want to be the gods of this world. But they know they're bound by the laws of karma not to deceive us.
Yeah, but also
Right?
also it's very ritualistic, man. I don't know if you ever opened the Kabbalah, man, the Jewish mystic book. You ever opened it?
No.
It's
Never.
very
Yeah, I haven't read the Bible. I haven't read the fucking Kabbalah. I haven't looked at the Quran. I haven't nothing.
so
Gone
when I
into
was when I was a teenager and I was going fucking crazy on my knowledge search and shit, I opened the Kabbalah, man, and that's why it's very ritualistic. It's true what you're saying. It says right in the Kabbalah that it's part of the ritual for them to release the information beforehand, so then later on they could be like, look, you motherfuckers knew, like, what do you want from me? You did this
yeah,
yourself.
yeah. We told you, and then
Yeah.
they think that when at the end of their lives and they're dragged up before the fucking universal judge, they say, "Oh no, we didn't lie to the people. Look, we told them."
Yeah, they did
But
it
that ain't gonna
themselves.
that ain't gonna get them off the hook. Right? They think it will. But like this is what I'm saying. The truth is being revealed. Uh and if you look, people aren't looking because they believe that they're getting the truth in the news. And that people who believe that they fucking landed on the moon believe it because they fucking saw it on the TV. Even like we had neighbors when I was a kid who didn't have TV. They believed that they fucking landed on the moon because they heard it on the radio. So they'll show you this, but in all of that footage, they're showing you, basically, they're telling you they went there, but they're showing you that they didn't. Right?
Yeah.
So they are fucking tricksters on a biblical fucking scale. And they fucked this world, and the world is fucked because of them. Yeah.
Yeah, listen, Jim, I've been keeping you here for so long. It's like 3.5 hours. But this is, I don't know if you remember, The last time you were here, we opened up, and again, I'm so grateful for you, man. You know, I thank God for you, like for people like I've been so blessed, man, with people like you to come into my life. Last time you were here, we were finishing off. I was asking you a question. You told me that I'll tell you about it next time. So I'm wondering if you could tell me now. Um, Christ, Christ. You told me that you were gonna tell me uh who
Well,
who Christ is to you, and like that whole thing, man. So take it away, man.
well, let's look at an impossible, crazy scenario. Okay, if you were God and you only had one son,
Hmm.
and you're going to send him to this world,
Hmm.
you're going to send him to the fucking piss poorest part of the world where all they have is a fucking gown and a pair of slippers,
Hmm.
and they're fucking starving and hoking, fucking running through the lakes with nets looking for fucking fish. You know, that doesn't add up.
Hmm.
They had source material. This is
Hmm.
where I say there is truth, and the rest is lies.
Hmm.
I mean, the whole Jesus story is a replica of Krishna's birth on this earth,
I mean, even Osiris, and yeah,
right?
there's a bunch of ones before that. Yeah, man.
Right? So, uh, you're aware of Joseph Justus Scaliger, yeah?
Hmm. Okay.
In the Scaligerian texts.
Hmm.
I think I found about 200 paintings of Christ's crucifixion,
Hmm.
and all of them have got the fucking Hagia Sophia in Istanbul in the background. Yeah.
Ooh.
All right.
Holy shit.
So I think that when Krishna left this earth,
Hmm.
that the Kali Yuga really began, and they came up with the Christ story.
Hmm.
And then with the crucifixion of Christ,
Hmm.
it's a symbol of the death of theism.
Hmm.
So we defeated God, we won.
Hmm.
Istanbul was Jerusalem. It
Yeah.
was never Constantinople.
Hmm.
Now, do I believe that they crucified Jesus Christ in Istanbul? No,
Hmm.
they didn't. But the 200 paintings, 200 of them, with him being crucified and the Hagia Sophia and other famous landmarks
Hmm.
in Istanbul in the background.
Hmm.
Now, astronomically, which I do not, I doubt as well for a reason. They say that Krishna was on the earth 5,000 years ago, and the Battle of Kurukshetra took place 5,000 years ago. I think Krishna was on the earth 1,000 years ago. The Battle of Kurukshetra took place 1,000 years ago. The Kali Yuga began 1,000 years ago, and the Dwapara Yuga, the previous Yuga to that, ended at that time. And that's where all the star forts and star cities from a previous civilization's architecture, the pyramids, the circuit board electric grid of the earth,
I mean, they're
was
all
in
yeah, they're all
existence
over, man.
in the Dwapara Yuga.
Hmm.
And then they say, you know, sometimes, and you've heard this yourself, that the greatest trick the devil ever played was to convince the world he didn't exist. Well, I think that the greatest trick the devil ever played was the Jesus story.
Wow.
The invention of a character who never, if he did exist, never set foot in the Middle East. There are stories about him. Oh, I've heard stories Jesus was born in Ireland. I've heard stories Jesus was born in China. I've heard stories Jesus was born in the United States. You know? But like
we even have one that he was born in Western Ukraine, so I understand.
There you go. So, and if God is going to give land to a certain group of people, why not give them fucking fertile land? Why not give them fucking the Ukraine instead of fucking the middle desert in the Middle East where you couldn't grow a carrot? Yeah. So the whole birth of Jesus and the upbringing of Jesus is modeled on the Krishna story. They had source material. They think that they're giving us truth. Yes, again, they're giving you truth, but telling you a huge lie. So I don't think any of these religious characters from history ever existed. From fucking Moses to Abraham to Muhammad, Jesus. None of these people. They're all constructs. And they're constructed for the sole purpose of creating divisions and creating future conflicts, guaranteeing future conflicts. They always profit from war. So I don't think there were any religions before 1800. Right? And I think that the biblical texts were constructed in the late 1500s, early 1600s. New Testament.
Prove to me that you are alive.
And the Old Testament was constructed in the late 1700s, early 1800s. And then they have a reset coming and a reset world to populate and control. And then they've got all these stories. Now, so all this can upset a lot of people. There's a lot of people whose only savior is Jesus. And it's hard to tell them nobody's going to come and save you. And you can not just insult a Christian, but you could end up hanging upside down from a tree if you say some of these things in certain.
That has happened before.
Yeah. You know, you open your mouth in a Christian community like this, what's the fucking expression? I think Bill Hicks said it nicely. But remember Bill Hicks talking about all these people walking around with crosses around their necks, you know? And it's the fucking last thing Jesus wants to see when he comes back is a fucking cross, you know? But like, I think that the crucifixion of Jesus was a symbol of the death of theism, the end of the Dwapara Yuga, and the reign of the demons on the earth, the beginning of the Kali Yuga. And they have to show that they defeated God. And they painted many pictures and wrote many stories. If you go looking for Jesus in the Bible, you'll read all about him in a half an hour. You know, the Bible is about banking. It's about astrology. It's about predictions. And like I said earlier on, they wrote all the books.
Oh, 1 second. Hold on. I'm so sorry. Somebody's knocking. One second. This is so.
Go on.
I'm so sorry, Jim. Yeah. So basically, you can read it in a half an hour, right?
Well, all the information relating to Jesus,
Christ,
and
yeah.
it's the only book from that era that talks about him. There are no other books from that era that mention him. But who brought us this story? Rome, the greatest fucking liars on the face of this earth, brought us this story.
You
You
know,
know?
what you say is very super interesting. The information that I have, it's, it's a little different, but the concept is like almost the same. But I'm not getting into that. But what reminds me of is that my second album actually was called Partes Mendaci. In Latin it means the Christ deception. So that's why when you're talking like that, it reminds me of that, and that's why I named the album in Latin. It came out in 2016. But if to speak about symbolism, and we sometimes we don't grasp it, and especially in Catholicism, if you think about it, people walk into these churches and cathedrals, and they are seeing a guy hung up on a cross, dying, man, like just completely withered and weak and dying. Just the symbolism itself. And then they say that it's a symbol of sacrifice, so it's constant, like you're a servant, you have to sacrifice, and one day you might be hung up on a freaking cross, and then you'll get your reward in the afterlife. Like, a lot of people don't realize how heavy this whole concept and symbolism is. Even sometimes when people like judge like these crazy sects and all that, I'm like, yo, you mother suckers go to church and say that you are drinking Jesus's blood and eating his body, bro.
Yeah, look, it's meant to scare people into submission.
But that's
It,
what I'm
it basically
saying.
says, it basically says, look, this is what happened to the last guy that fucked with us.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
have a T-shirt. You could have Jesus on a cross on a T-shirt written, "This is what we did to the last guy that fucked with us."
Yeah. Yo, that's a good t-shirt, man.
In that video I made in Ireland, and you commented on this, when I was going through that old graveyard
Yeah.
where all the old ancient Irish Celtic crosses and high crosses were, not one of them had a guy nailed to it.
Of course.
They brought this concept in after the 1800s.
But Celtic
After,
crosses has a whole different symbolism that cross, bro. That's it's heavy. I just don't understand like how they've been able to get away with it. Sometimes I walk into these churches because I like the look of churches. Like, I'll go in like evening times if no one is there, because I'm close to Princeton and shit, and I'm just overwhelmed by like how are they able to get away with it, where we think that this is okay. Not we, I mean millions and billions of people think that this is okay, man.
yeah, it's a control mechanism. People were, like again at the beginning of this current age, people were very ignorant. They knew nothing, although each man in his heart knows deep down that there is a higher authority.
That's why
You
you
know,
said Christ consciousness or Buddha consciousness or Krishna consciousness, or I think that is so much more important than you know
so they want to control the narrative,
yeah.
and to frighten people and to scare people into submission. They show them this uh, poor guy nailed to a cross with blood pissing out of him.
Yeah.
It pulls on the heartstrings of the poor, ignorant people at the time who don't know no different.
Don't forget he was like poked inside of his rib, like with a, like, it's brutal, man, and again, and we go to these places and we drink the blood and we eat the body, and then we like tell them our deepest secrets and shit. Like, it's
Yeah, well, it's
mind-blowing,
part
man.
of that. Doing all that was one part of it. The other part of it was, um, forcing people into accepting their narrative.
Yeah.
You know all about the Spanish Inquisition, yeah?
Yes, sir. Of course.
But it was worldwide. It was not just in Spain. It was in the Americas, North and South. It was in Africa. It was all across Asia, Russia, Australia, New Zealand. And the word, the people, this Roman Empire, when it came,
Yeah, I'm listening to you, Jim. Yeah.
this is where the word foreigner comes from, right? Because when they arrived, they were foreign, and they were forcing a religion on the people. A religion can only be spread by force. And the word foreign comes from the family name Farran. You know these people?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You actually made a video about it, man.
That's right. The Farran or the Farnese. They're one of the 13 Venetian banking families. And you either submitted or they slaughtered you.
Yeah, it's lay down or stay down, man. Lay down and stay down. Yep.
This girl Sylvie from, I think it was called the New Earth channel. I'm going back 8 or 10 years. He was reading some stuff from some of the Eastern European countries, Bulgaria, Romania. When the Holy Roman Empire came through, they slaughtered 70% of the population immediately.
Yeah, that's Romania, man. Yeah.
Offered the other 30% to convert or die.
That's crazy. Listen, the same thing happened in Rus. People don't realize, man, that the same thing happened in Rus. You know, in the earth, when they say the Christianization of Rus, but it was really a slaughter of just great number of people, man. They gave people no choice, basically, man. Burning villages and yeah, man. Yeah.
So this Farran family controlled the banking system. Pope Paul III was one of them, and our friendly Cuban Fidel is a direct descendant.
Yeah.
And I said in that video that Fidel owns more land in North America and Canada than anybody else. And his son is still in charge up there north of you in the next country.
Man, of course, yeah.
So yeah, this is how the Holy Roman Empire stay in control, run the show with the hidden hand. You know?
That's why I try to tell people, I'm like, if you think that for some reason we had like these monarchies running the world, and then all of a sudden like all these dynasties, they disappeared, and all of a sudden now we have like this so-called democracy where we're actually choosing like who, like, come on, like, again, I don't know how, like, you know, because okay, you know, it's controlling, like manipulation, you know, neurological sign, like all this different shit, but sometimes some of these things are so like obvious, then I don't know, like, how do you get away with it, man? But they get away with it
by force. You either submit, and they're doing the same thing right now. They're going to use another religion to come in and say convert or die. And it's written in their scriptures that you know, these Noahide laws that they're talking about. Yeah.
Listen, Jim is Catholic, right?
I was sent to a Catholic school, forced to be a Catholic. Yeah.
No, I'm saying Jim is Catholic, right? Oh, not Jim. Oh my God. See, I'm thinking about you, man. Chief is Catholic, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he was born into a Catholic family, but
no, but he's still like Catholic from what I gather. No?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Definitely not. But he still is he's a Jesus believer.
Yeah.
And
that's what I'm.
And I'm trying to tell him that it's all a fucking scam.
Huh.
And he somehow is going against that. Yeah.
It's a big thing, Jim. Just like you said, it's a big thing. If someone has, lived with it their entire life, and um it's it's a big thing, man. That's why sometimes convincing and opening eyes, like we like to say, it's not an easy task.
Oh, his eyes are open, all right.
Yeah.
But like he is kind of, he believes in the history of Ireland, that Ireland was a saintly place, a
Hmm.
land of saints and scholars.
Hmm.
And you have so many fucking saints in Ireland. And I'm trying to tell him, St. Patrick never fucking existed.
Hmm.
It's a scam. I'm trying to tell him that all these other saints, they never existed. They're forced upon us, that the fucking Inquisition brought them in, and if you rejected them, you fucking ended up upside down and hanging from a fucking tree.
I have to say before, like, so to me, Christ consciousness, to me, that's my personal Messiah, meaning the Christ consciousness. You understand? Like, to me personally,
Yes,
you know what I
I
mean?
understand that.
Yeah, yeah. So I had to
Well,
say that. I wouldn't be able to forgive myself if I didn't. I would feel like a traitor, man. So
oh, yeah, I know, but like this, the whole story doesn't add up of
yeah,
the
yeah. I see what
character,
you're saying. I see what you're
like
saying
character,
completely.
you
Yeah.
know. And I mean, like, I'm trying to explain to the chief that Moses didn't fucking exist.
Hmm.
That God doesn't come down and open the fucking sea for you so you can run across it and get away. And then he turns around and he says to me, "Oh, but they went down there in boat in submersibles and they found all these chariot wheels and remains of fucking chariot." I said, "Yeah, they went out there in the fucking 50s and they chucked a load of old fucking bicycle wheels
They'll
overboard."
tell you anything, bro. That's why sometimes I'm like, it's ridiculous. I tell people, like, unless you were there at the archaeological find, and even then, you have to have the knowledge of archaeology. You have to go take it, study it, like take it apart, like test like, it's unless you done it yourself, it's
Look, I've
it's
looked into this. I've looked into this. We've all heard about the burning of the Library of Alexandria.
yes, sir.
Yeah, and that all these books were all burnt. But the narratives claims that all of the books that were in the Library of Alexandria came from the city of Ephesus in
Mm-hmm.
Greece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if you go to Ephesus today, you can see all these old ruins.
Hmm.
Yeah. But if you go back to the photographs of that region in the 1880s, there was no fucking Ephesus. During World War One, when everyone was looking over there, the fucking Masons went in there and constructed the fucking thing.
Incredible.
They tell us that all our history, much of our history of the world, comes from translated hieroglyphs from
Mm-hmm.
the temple of Hatshepsut in Egypt, or Hamchetset,
Mm-hmm.
and that there are hieroglyphs all over the wall and they depict a history of the world. You go back to the 1880s, the photographs taken by Sir Flinders Petrie, there was no fucking temple.
Hmm.
So there was no fucking hieroglyphs.
Incredible.
They'd done the same to Egypt and the pyramids, turned it into a theme park. And
Hmm.
even fucking Stonehenge, they say, oh, it's 5,000 years old. There's video footage of them building it during World War One.
Wow.
So they spent trillions
Mm-hmm.
to create the fake paradigm that the world is set in, and then they can control us, and then they bring in all this other bullshit. They're
Yeah,
all fucked.
they'll make anything into a holy site. I won't be surprised if, like, in 100 years, they'll call Zelensky a saint, and then, like, I don't know, man. He came from immaculate conception and shit. Like, yeah, it's real, man.
Capable of anything. They're capable of anything. I can tell you're tired, bro. You need to get some sleep.
Oh, my mom, my beautiful mom is here, man. So she came in, so I'm about to spend a little time with her. Listen, we did this for like 4 hours. You are the greatest. Remember, this is why I always say we and our podcast and because this is your channel and your show as much as it is mine. It's a pleasure as always, an honor as always. I learned so freaking much, and let's do it again. And I'm gonna try to set up a round table, which will be cool.
Okay. And some of these mornings when we're having a chat on the app, we can always easily do a call, a video
Yes,
call
sir.
or a voice call, you know,
Yes,
even
sir.
if it's only a half an hour, just something off the air, you know what I mean?
Definitely, definitely. I'm with that, man. Jim, you are the greatest. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for the love, for always supporting. Like I said, you are a blessing to me. And we'll stay in touch, my brother. Thank you so much, man.
All right, well, say hi to your mom and enjoy the
Thank
rest
you.
of your time there, okay?
Thank you, Jim. Have a good day today, man.
You too, man. Take care.
All right, my brother. All right.
All right.
Later.
Ciao.
Prove to me that you are alive.